Donald Trump has always been a vocal advocate for strong trade policies, often pushing tariffs as a tool to protect American industries. However, in a surprising turn of events, it appears that Canada is now taking a page out of Trump's playbook, imposing tariffs while the United States takes a step back. This shift has left many political analysts and business leaders questioning what this means. 4. North American trade relations and whether it signals the end of a long-standing annexation threat. For years, Trump has positioned himself as the ultimate dealmaker, using tariffs as leverage to renegotiate trade deals that he believed were unfair to the United States. His administration's policies led to a turbulent trade relationship with Canada, particularly during the renegotiation of NAFTA, which resulted in the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement. The use of tariffs on steel, aluminum, and other products was a key tactic to push for better trade terms. Now, with Trump out of office and Canada imposing tariffs of its own, the dynamics have changed significantly. Canada's decision to impose tariffs comes in response to growing economic pressure and shifting global trade policies. The country is looking to protect its domestic industries and ensure that it is not left vulnerable to market fluctuations caused by external policies. Many Canadian officials have expressed frustration over past trade negotiations, particularly with the way Trump handled discussions during his presidency. The new tariffs are a way for Canada to assert its own economic independence and push back against trade imbalances. One of the key factors driving Canada's tariff strategy is its concern over economic sovereignty. There has long been speculation about the possibility of the United States annexing Canada, either through political influence or economic dominance. While such a scenario has always seemed far-fetched, trade policies play a crucial role in maintaining Canada's independence. By imposing tariffs, Canada is sending a clear message that it is not willing to be dictated to by external economic forces. The reaction from American businesses and policymakers has been mixed. Some view Canada's move as a necessary step in protecting its own economy, while others see it as a challenge to the strong trade relationship that has existed between the two nations. The Biden administration has taken a more diplomatic approach to trade, stepping back from aggressive tariff strategies in an effort to rebuild international alliances. This shift has created an opening for Canada to implement its own policies without immediate retaliation from the U.S. for Trump. This move by Canada could be seen as an unexpected consequence of his own trade tactics. By making tariffs a central part of his economic strategy, he set a precedent that other nations are now following. During his presidency, Trump argued that tariffs were necessary to bring manufacturing jobs back to the U.S. and to ensure fair trade practices. However, with Canada now adopting a similar approach, it raises questions about whether Trump underestimated how other countries would respond in the long run. Canadian industries that are benefiting from these tariffs include manufacturing, agriculture, and natural resources. By placing tariffs on certain American goods, Canada is encouraging domestic production and reducing reliance on imports. This strategy is not without risks, as it could lead to higher prices for consumers and potential trade disputes. However, Canadian officials believe that the long-term benefits outweigh the short-term challenges. Some experts believe that Canada's tariff strategy could have broader implications for global trade. If other countries follow suit, it could lead to a more protectionist global economy where nations prioritize their own industries over free trade agreements. This shift could reshape international trade policies and create new challenges for multinational corporations that rely on open markets. The timing of Canada's move is also significant as it comes at a time when the U.S. is dealing with internal economic challenges. Inflation, supply chain disruptions, and political divisions have made it difficult for the U.S. to maintain a consistent trade strategy. With the Biden administration focusing on domestic economic recovery, Canada's decision to impose tariffs may not be met with immediate pushback. However, if Trump were to return to power in the future, it is likely that he would take a much more aggressive stance against Canada's trade policies. There is also the question of how these tariffs will impact consumers on both sides of the border. In the short term, Canadian consumers may face higher prices on certain goods, particularly those that rely on American imports. Similarly, American businesses that export to Canada may see reduced sales, which could lead to economic strain in certain industries. The long-term effects will depend on how both countries navigate this evolving trade landscape. While the annexation threat has always been more of a political talking point than a realistic scenario, trade policies play a crucial role in shaping national sovereignty. Canada's decision to impose tariffs is a clear indication that it is taking steps to protect its economic interests and maintain its independence. Whether this move will lead to further trade tensions or encourage more balanced negotiations remains to be seen. For Trump, this is a moment of irony. His hardline trade policies were designed to put America first, but they have also inspired other countries to adopt similar tactics. Canada's willingness to push back with tariffs shows that the global trade landscape is shifting. Nations are no longer willing to simply accept terms dictated by the U.S. This change could mark the beginning of a new era in North American trade relations, one where economic power is more evenly distributed. The future of U.S. Canada trade relations will depend on how both governments handle this situation moving forward. If the Biden administration continues to prioritize diplomacy over tariffs, it could lead to a more cooperative trade environment. However, if Trump or another leader with a similar approach returns to power, it could reignite trade wars and further complicate economic ties between the two countries. Ultimately, Canada's decision to impose tariffs is a bold move that signals a shift in how countries approach trade policy. Whether this marks the end of an annexation threat or the beginning of a new trade conflict remains to be seen. What is clear is that Trump didn't see this coming, and the ripple effects of his trade policies are still shaping global economic strategies today.